Hi guys, welcome to Progress Made Public. Today I'm shooting all the way from Mexico, so welcome to this beauty. Here's a sneak peek. This week before I left, I was talking to a friend and she asked me how we could tell when God speaks to us. So I figured I'd answer that in honor of her. She's a good friend and I'm here to help out. So it may sound like a cliche question just because if you've grown up a Christian, it's something that comes naturally. But I think that if we stop to think about it, it really isn't. Because I know, at least for me, a lot of times when people are like, oh, well, why don't you pray about it and see what God has to say about it? I oftentimes find myself in like a hole and I'm just stuck. And I'm like, well, I can't hear God speak to me. He's giving me the silent treatment. But oftentimes, He's speaking to us from all different directions. We just need to know which one to tune into and just hear Him in every way that He's speaking to us. So the first point I wanted to make to you guys is when God speaks, it comes in many different ways, shapes, and forms. So, from my personal experience, it's been from someone that knew nothing about me or my circumstances and just gave me a right word at the right time, and it was just clear that it was God speaking to me through someone else. Sometimes it was through dreams I had that just lined up with what I was going through and it just all made sense. And more oftentimes than not, it was just that very still small voice in my head that just put a thought in it, or maybe something that I was going through and just gave me peace of heart about it, and I just knew it was coming from God. We just have to have that discernment. Sometimes it feels a little confusing and you're just like, well, I don't know if that's God, I don't know if that's my own head, but God oftentimes speaks in the small moments, and we just need to be able to tune in and recognize that that's God speaking to us. Because again, oftentimes He's screaming at us and we think we can't hear it, but we just have to take a moment to take in what's going on around us and we'll hear His voice. So I wanted to share a Bible verse, Isaiah 30:21, and it says, "Your ears will hear Him. Right behind you a voice will say, 'This is the way you shall go, whether to the right or to the left.'" So again, if we just stand in His presence, we're gonna hear His voice, whether it comes in a still small voice, whether it comes from a friend that may not know what we're going through but just speaks word of wisdom into our lives. In whatever way it is, we just need to be able to discern it. And if we're not sure about it, that's what the Bible is there for. Find a verse that backs up what you're going through and make sure it lines up with the Word, because that's important as well. If it doesn't line up with the Bible, then it's not from God. So the second point I wanted to make is God's voice brings peace and not confusion. God's never going to give you a word that leaves you confused or unsure or doubting yourself. He's a God of peace, and that's how He speaks to us, and that's how His word is presented to us in whatever way it may be. If it's through a friend or whatever it may be, it's never going to leave you confused. And you know yourself. I've given words before by prophets that I was just like, say what? There's no way that's for me. And that's okay too, because it's not always lined up with the Word. It's not always what God has for us. But if you just find in yourself to have that discernment, it's going to line up with the Word. It's going to be peaceful, and it's going to be the will of God for your life. So I just wanted to share one more Bible verse to go with that, and it's Psalms 85:8. "Listen carefully to what the Lord is saying, for He speaks peace to His faithful people." So just trust that He is speaking to you from all over, all around, through your friends, through your daily life, through what you're going through, your circumstances. And He is that still small voice in your head that you oftentimes aren't sure about. And again, if it's backed up by the Word, if it lines up with His Word, and if you have peace of heart about it, it's God speaking to you, and just go for it with it. Have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, and subscribe.